What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming back. We are in our final segment for today, business bookend, and we are coming back to an oldie but a goodie. I don't know that this one is ever going to get out of date, in my opinion. Maybe that's just my bias talking, but Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think
This is
most of you that have started your own business or have thought about it have probably come across that book and or title at some point in time, and wanted to bring this one up because I think it deserves attention for sure, rightfully so. And the things that I personally wanted to pinpoint out of this book are are a few things. One, your mind is your best asset, and I think that gets overlooked often. We always want to look to other people for answers or other things or scroll through the Instagrams, whatever social media platforms to find that answer, versus using what's between your ears and thinking your way through things to say, how do I make something, how do I solve that problem, whatever that problem is? Jalen, what's, I guess, the first thing that you've hung on to from that one?
yeah, it's just the biggest thing is always just the sense of entrepreneurship to work for oneself and really utilize experts in different fields in order to propel yourself further than you could if you just go it yourself.
Hmm.
That's definitely the biggest thing, and something that they really talk about a lot is just having that those people that are going to be able to advise you to make sure that you are making the best decisions for whatever your goals are. So if you tell professionals what your goals are, they're going to tell you a way to get to it, and you might not like necessarily the way that they tell you or the amount of time it's going to take, but they're going to tell you the best and quickest way to do it, especially if you have the right people in your corners. So that was the biggest thing.
Okay.
It's like, okay, you got to have the right people,
Yeah.
and if you, especially if you want to build something.
Right.
Yeah. How are you seeing? How do you see that having the right people, and how do you implement it in your daily business or daily life? Any examples of that for you?
Absolutely. Like, I think that is such an important one in terms of who you surround yourself with, because I strongly believe voices affect choices. And those we
Mhm.
surround ourselves with, whether it be family and or friends, if we're not deliberate, we leave a lot of things
Yeah.
to chance. And I think that's a very important piece of it is not just surrounding yourselves with the right people, but spending more time with more people you want, that whether you want to be like them for some reason, you want to pick their brain to say, how did you get there? Again, it's being intentional with your time, because as Warren
Yeah.
Buffett once noted, as many people is that's the one commodity no amount of wealth will ever be able to buy is time, right? So how you choose to spend it and who you
Yeah.
choose to spend it with, I think is a massive indicator of where we all end up. Um, if we all start with ideas and they remain ideas, you're not going to accomplish too many things, right? And
Yeah, yeah, and it's something that I've kind of been toiling with lately, is just like a even a virtual assistant, just someone that is part-time, just to take off all the things. It's like, okay, I have my system. I know how I want it to be done. I can now just tell someone else how to do that, and I can go to the more money producing activities
mhm,
and take these smaller tasks off my plate altogether. That's kind of what he talks about, is you're wanting to get rid of those smaller tasks, those tasks that aren't in your wheelhouse, those tasks that someone else can do, and let other people have it.
sure,
It shouldn't be you're a one man show. Um, in any area. So it's definitely, I think, hard for most people though, to have that kind of release. Um, but at the end of the day, if you want to actually grow, it's that mentality of, you know, I'm in charge of these things, of these bigger things, and I need to make sure that I cut my time, um, cut the things out of my time and put them on someone else's plate so that other people can keep with that. And that's where having the people in your corner, having those right people,
yep,
he doesn't do he doesn't go and find the properties that he's going to buy. He hires a realtor. He doesn't go and do his own taxes. He has a CPA. So it's that kind of mentality. Um,
with that
yeah.
said, I think another idea and concept that's stuck with me about that book is being a generalist. So as you just alluded to, it's delegating. With that being said, you don't do it naively, not understanding any of it,
Mm,
right? Because I think that's where
yeah,
people get themselves in trouble is they don't understand anything. They don't want to. And then when they look at something, whether it be a numbers piece, and things that need to be buttoned up on the back end, whether it be the taxes and not understanding taxes, not that you need to do your own taxes when you're owning multiple properties or have multiple businesses, but you should understand them well enough that when they get passed back to you,
yeah,
you know what you're looking at, right? So the idea of being a generalist, um, I think is an important piece, right? Not that you have to understand everything just as well as your CPA, but again, have a good idea and reference point as to what someone's talking about when it comes to these other facets. If that's truly something that you want to do, is again being a generalist and not just dishing things off naively, saying, what did you just give them?" Well, I don't know, but they'll take care of it. Like if I want,
yeah.
as you
That's how
just
people
alluded
get in
to,
trouble.
yeah, as you just alluded to, having maybe a virtual assistant. It's like if you can't describe how you want it done, how are they supposed to do their job well, right? So
Yeah,
it's one thing to delegate, and
yeah,
it's another thing to understand what you're delegating. Um, and I think again that topic of be a generalist within your space is an important characteristic.
yeah. And let's dive into that, just that topic just very briefly too. Small rabbit hole, but just making sure that you know what you're doing, and also you have to understand what is driving your income potential,
Hmm.
right? So if I say the thing that drives my income potential is having face-to-face meetings with other industry partners, um, contacting leads, getting people pre-approved, if that's the income drivers, okay, is that the part that I'm going to dump off onto someone else? I was like, no.
Right.
Like that's the part that I still stay in front of. Um, but can I have someone do inputting emails? Can I have someone following up on a phone call with a client that's currently looking for a home and they can get to it before I can? Those are the things that are like, okay, that you're allowing that person to take things off your plate so that you can do more of the producing activities, not less of them. So I think some people think with the entrepreneur spirit without having a business or anything like that. We were kind of talking about this just before we started this final segment. Is they think I'll just find something that's completely automated. It's like nothing is completely automated.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no such thing as a thing that will make you seven figures and is completely automated, unless you're a trust fund baby and someone gave you money to plug into the stock market. There's nothing that's going to be like that. And so you have to understand where your place is and where you, as a value add, where your value comes and can shine through the most, and get rid of the things that your value is doled by, and put those onto other people's that are better at that's where their value add is.
Right.
And just for those that want to make everything automated, if you don't have any value to add to something, don't expect your business to ever take off, because you're not adding value. you're, you're so yeah, that was my rabbit hole for the day, Nick.
Okay. Well, I'll go down a third one because there's a third topic that has stuck with me for a long time. It's around the budgeting piece. As important as knowing your budget and knowing where your money's going,
Yeah.
it's paying yourself first, not paying yourself last.
Mm,
I think there's a lot of people that
yes.
will pay all their bills, pay this, pay that, pay this, and hopefully it'll have some fun money or however you want to term it left over. And then it's like, but I don't. Pay yourself first. Whatever that amount is it $100? Is it a certain percentage of your paycheck? Like different
Yeah.
ways to solve that problem or solve that situation. But I think that's
Yep.
a very important one. You're the one busting your butt to make all the money. Reward yourself, right? And that's something that, like I said, I've done since I read that book in the mid 2000s. I created a little envelope that just said money for me, and I would just put in $20 a week, um, and then
Sure.
a month, that's $80. And some months I wouldn't spend it all. And now you're compounding that, for the next month. Oh, didn't go out at all this month. And now all of a sudden, some people if they don't spend it often, you're looking at a few $100 pretty quick, depending on what your spending habits are.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, you're paying yourself first,
Yep.
right? And I looked at it as every week because for my situation, I was paid weekly and I did a lot of individual one-on-one soccer sessions. So that's how I managed it. And some people say, well, I only get paid monthly. Okay, then do it by the month. Whatever your situation is, pay yourself first, figure out what that manageable amount is. Otherwise, to assume that hopefully you'll just deal with the leftovers. Um, Again, I think there's better ways. And I think that is the better way. Pay yourself first, not last. Thoughts on that one, Jay?
Oh yeah, it's that dirty B word, budgeting, always comes into play, and people are always afraid of it, and they think that means that they can't have fun. And really, it's just making sure that your dollars, no matter what budgeting system you decide to use, your dollars are going towards things intentionally instead of just randomly going out the door. And at the end of the month, you're like, why don't I have money? I made so much money this month. What happened to it all? Then you look at your bank statements and you're like, oh yeah, yep, I remember that day. I remember that day and that day. So yeah, and I think putting in there in your budget, which is effectively what you did by doing that. That's one way to make sure that you budget money for yourself. We have just fun money in our budget. It's just called fun money, and that's as easy as it has to be. A couple $100, and we get to go and spend that however we want and do something fun, eat out, go to events. Definitely important, because otherwise it becomes very hard to motivate yourself when you get literally all stick and no carrot. So,
Yeah.
and that's not a, it's not a euphemism or anything. That's just the carrot and stick.
Right.
That was bad. That was bad. Yeah.
But nonetheless, I think that is an important one mentally, right? So you don't feel guilty. You're just like, oh, can we afford to do this concert, right? If you budgeted for it, 'cause
Yeah.
you pay yourself first, you're just like, yeah, we can splurge on that, and we don't have to feel bad for it because
Yep.
we know we work within those limits, and you know what those limits are. So
100%. So, well, that's all I got for it. Final thoughts?
yeah, final thoughts is continue to read, continue to get yourself outside of your kind of norm. I think that's important because that's where new ideas come from. It's I think once we put up certain walls and echo chambers of sorts, it's hard to feel like keep things fresh. So that would be
Yeah.
my final thought is keep finding ways to do those things. And again, maybe it's not reading. Maybe it's like I hate reading though. Hey, listen, you have enough podcasts and audiobooks these days that you could just pop that on for again, create a time frame, 15 minutes, right?
Yep.
Or is it 30 minutes? Whatever that is, and just block out that time. I think that's an important time to just allow yourself to think and be a little bit off the main page, if you will, to keep moving forward.
Yeah. Perfectly well said, Nick. That's all that we have for today. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, and comment. We're getting low on our business books, so if you have any good books, shoot us some. We'll potentially read them. So we'll at least get the cliff notes, spark notes, and we'll talk about the concepts of it deeper. So thank you all for listening, watching, and good evening, good night, and good morning, wherever you're listening to it. I think I got that right, Nick?
Close enough.
Close enough. And we'll see you next week.